Well, hello everybody, this is day 2 of our lockdown in New Zealand and just thought I'd bring you a little quick update. Going to do this every day, might be boring for some but doesn't matter, keeps me happy. Today we've got a total of 78 new cases up from yesterday, making the total of 283. We've got 27 people recovered and 7 people still in hospital, nobody in ICU. So that's about expected, I suppose, and I think from going by overseas experience and what this government has done in trying to limit the spread of this thing, it's going to rise, keep rising quite substantially, I think, for the next, I don't know, they say another 10 days before we might see some sort of flattening off. So everything's going as expected. We're very lucky, like I said yesterday, we're in a very small country, small population, so the numbers aren't big and the increases aren't great. But it's interesting to know where they're coming from. Most of the cases, almost all of them, have come from people returning from overseas or coming into the country from overseas. That makes sense, I suppose, because where else would we get it from? Then the clusters of cases that are forming around those people is the next interesting thing. So obviously those people have come in from overseas, they've gone home to wherever they go or whatever, and then they've started spreading this thing. The officials are onto it now and stopping that for any new people coming in. As of yesterday, I think they're putting people in quarantine as soon as they land, and they're not given the opportunity to spread the disease whether they've got it or not. Like yesterday, I think, no, overnight 360 people arrived at the airport, and out of those 8 had symptoms, and they were dealt with. A few other people were dealt with. I don't know what happened to the rest, but I think they all have to go into some sort of isolation for 14 days, and the government has rented a number of hotel rooms and hotels close to the airport to put all these people for a little while, as well as a Air Force base up in Auckland to deal with it. So that's under control. But prior to that, we've still got these people floating around in the community spreading the disease, but that's just the way it is. Yeah, day 2, I decided, well, we discovered this morning, after getting ourselves so well prepared, we hadn't bought any dog food for the dogs, poor things. Cats have got plenty of food, but the dogs didn't have any dog food. So I went out this morning to the supermarket just I wanted to have a look anyway, because I'm like that. It was 10:30 in the morning. Rolled up to the supermarket, and there was a policeman on the door, and supermarket staff handing out gloves and sanitising wipes. I thought that was brilliant. They had one door open, so there's normally 2 exits, but there's only one. 2 entrances rather, but in this case they're only using one. So that was a good thing. The policeman was just chatting to people, and I don't really know why he was there. I suppose he's just having a look. Once I was in the supermarket, he was wandering around. I think he was just sort of being visible, which is what they said they're going to do. The supermarket was not crowded. There was only a few people in there. Certainly nowhere near enough to even bump into anyone. It was easy to keep away from people. They were monitoring the numbers going in and out, but there was no queue. I went straight in, put my blue gloves on, wiped down the handle of my trolley with the wipe, and in I went. And it was great. Got the things I needed. The staff were all very friendly and nice. No waiting at the checkouts. Just easy, really easy. I don't expect that it's always like that, but I must have just struck a good time. But I think it's going to be a matter of organising yourself and going at times, once you work out when the quieter times are, and just getting a few things at a time. I think it's a great way to do it. So that was that. Last night I went for a walk on the beach with my dogs, like I usually do. Always go in the evening, just before dark usually. And I also try and coincide with the tide, so I'm not walking through a lot of soft sand. I like to walk on the hard sand because it's easier. And a lot more people on the beach. Often you hardly see anyone, or at the very least you see the same old regulars and you stop and have a chat. And the dogs know each other, and it's great. It's a nice evening out. But last night there was a lot of extra people on the beach. No, it wasn't crowded, but it was noticeably more people, and a few more people with dogs, and which made me wonder why don't they go there at the rest of, maybe because they're not working, I suppose they've got the time. So that was nice. So that was alright. Today, when I went to the supermarket, I noticed it's a very quiet, it's a very eerie feeling. There are a few people around, a few cars on the street, but very, very few. That's in our little suburb here in Papamoa, and it seems like everyone's taking it seriously and everything's good. I have heard stories during the day of crowds of people going to the beach at the Mount, and a lot of people walking on all the walking tracks around the city, not keeping their distance and treating it like it's a public holiday. Well, okay, it's going to happen. I mean, it's going to take a little while for people to get the hang of things and settle down. Hang on, my phone's ringing. I better answer that. Just a minute. Where was I? Can't remember. I think I was talking about people treating it like a public holiday. Lots of people on walking tracks and things. So one of our most popular walks around here is Mount Maunganui itself, Mauau. You can walk up the mountain or around it. They initially said that the tracks were going to be open, but they're not. They've been closed, so that's restricted people. There's a few people complaining about kids riding their bikes on the streets now that there's no cars on the streets. So kids riding their bikes up. I mean, it's just silly stuff, and it's unnecessary. It's just. I saw something the other day. Yesterday, I think, was someone asked a question of how do you manage with joint custody of children, and I replied back to that person and said, well, really just common sense. If you're in the same area, same community, it's not going to make a lot of difference, as long as you don't mix with other people other than those in your immediate bubble, they're calling it, your family bubble. And to me, that's easy. If the other parent was in Wellington and you're in Auckland, well then of course there would be no way you could share the custody because you're not allowed to travel. So that's the end of that. So obviously that's going to make it difficult for one parent or both parents, or it's just the rules. So that's just the way it is. So I think there's going to be a lot of areas where common sense must prevail. The police have said that they're going to clamp down on people driving their vehicles to the beach. Well, yeah, I can understand that, but in my case, I live only 100 metres from the beach, but I need to be able to drive because I can't walk very far. So I'm keeping my medical records in my car along with my disability parking permit, so that if I do get stopped, I can explain to the police, well, look, I can't walk very far, I need to take my dogs out, this is what I'm doing, and I only live just over there, sort of thing. And I'm sure that would be acceptable. We're yet to find out. So there's going to be little things like that. But other than that, it's all good. My wife is furiously cooking. She's decided she's going to take one ingredient out of the fridge or the pantry each day that hasn't been used forever and do something with it. So that's her daily challenge, is cooking. So we've got cooking going on. And she's also decided she's going to paint everything. I went and bought a pot of paint for her a couple of days ago before the shop shut, and now we're getting the inside of the house painted. So we're keeping busy. What else is going on? The neighbour across the road, he's always got his garage door open and got some sort of project on the go, and I notice he's furiously working on something over there. People are keeping busy and doing stuff. So that's it. That's day one of the lockdown is complete. No, hang on. Is it complete, or are we in it now? I can't even bloody remember. What's today? Thursday. Yeah, we're in day one. At least another 29 days to go. No, more than that probably. They said 4 weeks initially, but who knows. So anyway, enjoy the rest of your day and enjoy whatever you're doing. Keep safe. Keep it back. Oh, one more thing I forgot to mention. Prince Charles has got the disease. Who'd have thunk? It must be all the handshaking he's been doing, I suppose. Anyway, he's got it. Now the Queen's in isolation as well. Goodness me, what's the world coming to? Anyway, see you tomorrow.